Morning, class. Everybody able to hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Morning. Welcome back to week 11 tutorial. I hope you're all well. Doesn't look like there's many of us this morning, so this tutorial shouldn't take too long. So this week's tutorial, we're looking at sectional views. We've discussed it once before in one of our tutorials where we had to draw an isometric view which had a sectional cut in it. However, this week we're required to draw the sectional view of the shape shown on my screen. You're all able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yes, we're given a part. It obviously has a slot with a keyway in it. And these, I assume, are bolt holes. And we are asked to draw the sectional view looking in this direction. So cutting this shape in half and showing the internal details. Okay. So can anybody just remind me, what is the main purpose of having sectional views? What's the main idea behind having sectional views? Okay, as discussed previously, the main reason for having sectional views is to show internal geometries or internal details of a design that can't be seen from any of the 6 principal views. Okay, so we have our left, right, top, bottom, front, back. If the detail is inside the actual object that you're looking at and you can't see it, and sometimes hidden lines aren't good enough to show internal details. Sometimes it's necessary to show an extra view, and that extra view could be a sectional view. So for some of you in your final project, the sectional view might be beneficial to explain your design or the internal workings of your design. So just keep that in mind. When you section your drawing or when you section an object, what kind of projections do you put on that drawing to show that it is cut? What do you usually use to show that an object is cut? What kind of symbol? Sorry?
Hatching.
Hatching, yes. Yes, very good. Hatching at 45 degrees is usually the way to go about it. All right, so like last week, the attendance was taken for the isometric drawing. This week's attendance will be taken if you submit the sectional view of this object here. Okay, so we have to draw 2 sectional views. We have to draw the isometric view and the front view elevation. I will just show you an example of how your isometric might look. You're able to see my screen? So I've developed our object in a software called SolidWorks. You could have done this in AutoCAD, or you could even just imagine it. And if you can see it in your head, then it's fine. But basically, this is our 3-dimensional object. And we are given the sectional plane, and we're asked to project the isometric view of said sectional plane. The whole purpose of the sectional plane is basically at different points, as you move it further into the material, it will give you a different projection. So at this point, it will give us just this square as the sectional projection. And we are actually looking at the halfway. So your isometric projection would look something like this, the sectional view. Okay, I'm sure this is not that complicated. It's more to do with how you visualize things in 3D space and what details you would you would want to see. So probably the most important internal detail, and the reason why we have the sectional view, is to show this keyway, as well as maybe show the holes, because you can't actually see them clearly from the outside. But other than that, that's probably the only reason why they would have a sectional view for this object. Okay. So yes, for this week's attendance, you have to draw the isometric sectional view as well as the front elevation sectional view. Is that clear? Is that clear to everyone? Okay, great. Apart from that, do you have any questions based on the sectional view or how to develop the sectional view?
No, sir.
Okay, great. So yes, again, for your attendance for this week, you just have to draw the isometric sectional view as well as the front elevation sectional view. Be sure to use your proper instruments. Okay, your set squares and all that, rulers. Make sure that you show your hatching for the sectional part. Make sure it's neat, okay? It says in the question to draw it to a 1-to-1 scale, but for those of you who can't print this out, just eyeballing it or making it look sort of like the dimensions, but not taking exact one, that will be fine as well, okay? Because it's a bit difficult to take dimensions directly from the drawing if you can't actually print it. Okay. For any of you who missed out on the submission for last week's attendance, you can submit last week's activity, so the isometric drawing of those two shapes, and this week's activity. If you submit it by Sunday, then you'll get attendance for last week and this week, if you missed out last week on your submission. But I think quite a lot of you have already submitted for this tutorial session, so thank you very much. Your attendance has been updated. So do you have any questions about the tutorials? Okay, and also your project. I just want to make sure that everybody is still working on your project. Bearing in mind your presentation will be in week 14. So as well as preparing your report, you also have to be working on your presentation slides, deciding who's going to present what part and making sure that you have effective slides, not too much words, you know, a really good presentation. You can add all kinds of animations and whatever you want to the presentation. You can make it as fancy as you want. You know, you get points for those kind of creative things. Or, you know, making it really colorful, making it eye-catching, making it a good display of information. Bearing those things in mind, those all count towards your presentation marks. Has everybody from this session received their feedback for the project? I hope so. I'm pretty sure that all of the groups who sent their projects in, I've only received 2 projects from this tutorial session. Okay, I only received project 19 and project 23, so the bridge and the June buggies. So other groups, I haven't received your project yet. Just want to remind you that this week is the last week that I'll be looking at any of your drafts or making any more comments. After this week, it gets a bit late for changes. So if you want to send it in to have a look, that's highly advised so that I can point you guys in the right direction or whatnot. But if you're confident that you can present a final project that is of the standard that we're looking for and that you've hit all the nails on the head, then by all means, you don't have to submit anything. But I think Moses, you guys group, I haven't received any submission from you guys, as well as the guys doing the shovel or the spade, something like that. I haven't received your project either. So again, you have until this weekend. This weekend will be the last weekend that I'll be looking at draft reports. So if you send it in to me, you can email it to me directly and I'll have a look. Okay. As for your assignment 2, Dr. Kabir held a lecture yesterday or Tuesday, I'm not quite sure, but he discussed the whole assignment pretty much and all of the details, and he was hoping to answer all of your questions regarding the project in that tutorial lecture session. Were you guys able to attend?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So next week's tutorial, we'll have another drawing one as well as discussion on the assignment. Okay. He's told us that we can discuss the assignment into the tutorial session for next week. So that'll be the activity for next week. So if you still have doubts, I recommend that you guys come along and join us next week's tutorial session. Do you all have an assignment partner? You all have an assignment partner? Found an assignment partner?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Right. If you don't have an assignment partner, please let us know now so that we can or post it to the discussion forums or let Dr. Kabir know in the lectures so that he can find you a partner. Okay, guys, for those who just joined, this week's tutorial attendance will be taken when you submit the isometric as well as the front view elevation of the section of this drawing. Okay. You have to draw the front view elevation of the sectional plane of this object as well as the isometric view of the section. Be sure to use proper instruments. Okay, no freehand sketch. Use your set squares, your rulers, all that stuff, compass, whatnot. Make sure to use proper line weights, so light lines for construction, dark lines for outlines, hidden lines for hidden details. Make sure you submit with your ID number and your name, and post it to the Viber discussion forum for Thursday 8 to 9 tutorial. Are you all part of that Viber group?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If anybody isn't, please let us know in the MM101 pass Viber group or email us directly and we'll add you. Okay, guys, are there any more questions before we wrap up the session?
No, sir.
So we have a Viber group. Oh, okay. So you're not part of it, Silviano. Just leave your number in the chat here and I'll add you. I'll add you now. Okay, hold on. I'll just add you now and then you can let me know that you are part of it. Okay, have you been added to the group? I think you have.
Yes, thank you.
Set. All right, guys. If there are no more questions, thank you very much for attending this morning. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you all next week.
Likewise.